Hello, hello, my friends. Happy Tuesday. It is the last Tuesday of the month, which means it's our virtual card class day. So back before COVID struck, I used to always have card class here on the Cape on the last Tuesday of the month. So I would do a double header. I would do a class from 2 to 5 and then another class 6 to 9. And so just in the last couple of months, I've decided to I don't know why I stopped, honestly, to keep doing a class at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, and it will be a virtual class, and I kind of switched it up a little bit too. I used to do the class so that you would get the kits in advance and stamp along with me. That's super stressful though, and a little confusing because you had to order at the beginning of the month in order to get the kids at the end of the month, so I decided to switch it up, so we're doing it a little bit differently now. So the cards I show you today, you can actually earn the card kits for free just by placing an order using the host code, which I'll give you in a bit, between now and Friday. So October 30th. So if you place an order in my store, you'll automatically get the 3 card kits that I'm doing today. And then if the order is $50 or more, I'm going to throw in the embellishment I used too. So I think it'll be a fun way for me to be able to do this. It allows me to kind of be a little bit less stressed with getting everything out in time, so to say. So this will also allow me to be able to give you a full list of what you'd need. So I will post that in the description of the video, just in case you wanted to create the cards exactly like I do. I'll tell you what you need to be able to complete them that way. A lot of it though I do in advance for you, like the embossing and the die cutting and things like that, but you may want the stamp set and some of the inks and stuff that I use, but I don't use a ton. I don't think, anyway. I think I pulled it all. So I'll make sure to put all of that information in the link or in the description. And that way, if you do decide to order to get card kits, then you'll know what you could add to your order if you need it. So I think this will work out really good. And I hope that works for you. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this around so I can show you the cards and the stamp set that I'm featuring for today's card class. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So hang on 1 second for me. Okay. All right, so here we go. So as I said, I'm going to leave this here, but this is where you order, and then this is the host code to get the card kits for free. So these are the cards that I'm doing today. So we're featuring the In the Pines bundle. A couple of weeks ago when I was trying to decide what to do for my card club in October, I did a little survey of whether you guys wanted In the Pines or the Gnomes, and it was a lot of people wanted this one as well. So I decided to use this as my virtual card class. So that's what we're using today, and I'm featuring the plaid tidings paper because I had a ton of it on hand, so I knew I had enough to be able to create the card kits, although I do think right now, I forgot to check before I went live, I do think right now it's on back order, but it is one of the several sets that, or the papers that's on sale. Don't forget, we have a paper sale going on through the end of October for 15% off. So if it comes back, I'll let you know. But be sure to check out the online store for any paper needs too. So the order you place can be anything you want, but like I said in the description, I'll include some of the supplies you'll need to be able to complete these card kits exactly as I do it. And any size order will get you the card kits. If you do an order of 50 or more, you'll also get these cute little embellishments, which I'm using on all of our cards today. Let me just quickly bring this up on Facebook so that I can make sure everything is good and you can all see and hear me. I also can read comments that way, which I can't do from the phone. So let me just refresh this and find my video, and then we'll get started. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I am usually fairly good at multitasking and reading and answering questions. Okay. All right. Hi, ladies. Okay, it looks like you guys can see. It looks like you guys can comment. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's show you the stamp set that I used. So I'm using the In the Pines stamp set. It's actually a bundle. So it's In the Pines stamp set, and the dies are called Pine Woods. I have to actually scour my dies. I don't know if they got placed in the wrong spot or if I'm missing some, but you'll see I went to go stamp some of the little trees from the stamp set, and I don't have the die to cut them out. So see in here you have that the little guy here. I don't have him, see? So I don't know if I used it and lost it. I don't think so, or if it was one of those things where it was missing. So I'm gonna have to scour my room and see if I can find it. But we don't use it today anyway, so it's fine. But if you do order the bundle, make sure you have yours, because I'm not sure if that's a fluke or just me being silly. All right, so there's some really cute samples right on the page. This is from the holiday catalog, or the August through December mini catalog, so-called mini catalog. And you can see here is the stamp set and the dies. If you buy them together, it's $51.25. So you get a little bit of a discount, you get 10% off. And of course, if you were to buy the bundle, you'd automatically qualify for the embellishments for your card kits. All right, so that's what we're using. I also threw in, because if you look at the stamp set, it's just thinking of you, and there is the season's greetings, which I actually forgot because I could have used that on one of these. But I wanted to make mine all holiday cards because I need to get moving on that. So I also threw in the itty bitty Christmas stamp set, but you could use any sentiments you have. Most of us probably have tons of holiday sentiments at home, so definitely not necessarily, but if you do need a good Christmas stamp set for greetings, this one's awesome. I love it. So that's a good one to add if you need that. Okay, so I kind of put these in the order of how I wanted. Well, they're not pictured in the order of how I want to do them. They're actually backwards, but I put my little card kits here in order. So let's start with this one. Okay. No, actually, this was probably not the one I should start with, but that's the one we're going to start with. Let me do one thing though, because I don't want this to move around. This is our host code for today's class. And again, you have till Friday to do that, and you'll get the card kits. I'm just going to tape this down so it doesn't move, because I'm going to bring the big shot in a second, and that will likely cause disruption. So let me just do that. And then we'll get started. Okay, so I'm using the crumb cake base for this. Again, this is how your kits will come. The cards will probably be folded for you because it's easier for me to mail them, but you'll get your envelope and all your little pieces. Oh, I didn't do it on this one. Oh, because I haven't finished prepping this one, but I even tied your bows for you, so you guys are really lucky. I do have limited numbers of kits though, because I only had so much paper, so just keep that in mind. It's quite a few, so I don't think we'll sell out, but you never know, so we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, hi ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and just crease that with my bone folder, and then we'll just start with the easy stuff first. So I cut the paper to 4 by 5 1/4, and we will just attach this to the card. Oh, my thing is getting towards the end, so it's a little bit more finicky. Okay, there we go. Now it's going. I'm just going to tape this down because I don't need to do anything to it. No ribbon or anything. Well, there is ribbon, but not on that layer. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take this little panel here. This is 3/4 of an inch by 4. And we're just going to stick this across the center. I'm going to go a little bit low with it. Like that. I don't know about you guys, but I've been on a organizing TV show kick. I've been watching, I just watched all of the home edit shows, and then now I just started Marie Kondo, which I read the book a long time ago, but I'm now adding the show to my repertoire, so I'm feeling the urge to just reorganize everything. I don't know if that's a fall thing, a nesting thing. I felt that way in the spring too, but I figured it was just because of COVID. I don't know. Come on, guy. Come on. There we go. There. All right. This one, I'm just going to put down like that. Okay, so after cutting a whole bunch of wonky trees, see how these are like wicked thin right here, and this one's not even that bad, but I didn't get it lined up right. I was cutting the 2 pieces out separately. Where's those dies? What did I do with them? Oh, they're right here. So let me just show you. This die here does not actually cut out the tree, so you have to do this part and this part together to cut it out, like I'm using it on this card. So I had been die cutting this first, which is just the inside, and it looks like this when you cut it. And then I went around and I put this around my die and pushed it through my machine. And I don't know why, like it was just really hard for me to get it lined up right so that it wasn't super skinny. in some places and even cut off, like I didn't have it lined up right. So I decided, I finally figured it out, that I actually need to do the outline first and then die cut with this. And I find it much, much easier. Before I do that though, I am gonna poke out these excess ones because I find that this one, at least for my machine and my die, it might just be because from all the use, but I need to run it twice, and it works much better if it doesn't have any of these papers still in there. Otherwise, it doesn't cut out the middle very well. So I'm just gonna make sure I get all of those little pieces out so we don't have any undie cut centers. Where's that one? There's no thing for that. Oh, that's weird. All right, let me just do this. We'll pull that out. And there's one over here. Okay, I think that's everything. So I'm gonna just take this out of the way. Okay, and so now I'm gonna bring my my Stampin' Cut and Emboss over, and I will show you how this works. So I just found it was so much easier to do this in reverse. So I put this down, and then you take the accent piece here and you line it up on the pre-cut piece, and it works so much better than the other way around. I think I cut a whole bunch of them earlier today, and it took me forever because I kept positioning it wrong, and then it would have like these little bitty tiny edges, or I'd completely miss the edge and it would just make a giant mess. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll this through. All right, thanks Linda. This set is really fun. I might use it for my holiday cards. I need to still design, well, I usually do multiple designs, so, oh, you know what? See how it's not cutting through? I need to do it again. I forgot to do it twice because I was talking. And actually, I'm gonna stick a shim on there too, which is just an extra piece of paper to give it a little more oomph. I don't know why. It could be because I'm using plates that aren't actually designed for this machine. They're designed for another one, but my plates that came with this machine are really cut up, so I need to order another one. I'm just gonna go through one more time, just to make sure we get it cut. Okay. Just makes my life a little bit easier. There we go. Now I can see it's cut. I'm gonna move this back behind me. And I just dropped my other card kits on the floor. Put those back up. Okay. So you can go ahead and just pop this out. It comes out pretty easily with just your hands and you're pulling it apart. But I do have my little brush here handy. This is a great little adapter to your take your pick tool. So it just screws into your regular standard take your pick tool, and then you have a little die brush too. So this has like your pokey end, your die brush, your putty tip. There's also a little flat spatula kind of thing for those of you that have crickets and need to kind of pick up some of that stuff. That works too. So you can just kind of roll this over, and it's gonna kind of pop out some of those dots. It works best if you do it on like a sponge surface rather than just the cardstock or just the tabletop. And now you can see it kind of popped out most of the stuff for you. So I just have to do a few here, which all came out nice and easily, which I love. And there you have it. Isn't it so pretty? So what I did for this card, remember we already taped down one. So what I did was I just adhered this to that. And you know what I forgot to do, which I could have done, is use the self-stick or the adhesive sheets, which I showed you in my Teach Me Tuesday last week. I think it was Teach Me Tuesday. Yeah, it was Teach Me Tuesday last Tuesday. And I showed you how to use those. That would have been much better because then it would have just been sticky and I could have stuck it down. But I totally forgot to do that. So let's go ahead and grab some Tombow glue and just a little bit of, unclog it. And then just a little bit. I kind of try and make sure I get all the sides here. So that, and you don't need a lot at all, especially if it's right on the edges here. You don't want it to squish out the side, although it does dry clear. So it's totally fine if it does. I just kind of use a little tiny bit. Okay. Like this. All right. See, this takes a lot longer than if I used my little self-adhesive sticks, sheets rather, which again, I showed them to you guys in a Teach Me Tuesday last week. So if you missed it, be sure to go to my By the Shore Stamping YouTube channel and search for last week's video. All right, so that should be good. This does take a minute to dry, which is why I'm doing it first too. I'm just gonna stick this right on top of the white. So I layered white on white. Just kind of gives it a textured look, which I kind of like. And I'm just gonna do that. I actually cased this card a little bit from Erica Serwin, Pink Buckaroo Stamps. She's a friend of mine, and she did this for a class that I was in, and I loved it. I kind of changed it up just a tiny bit, but most of it is her design, but I love it. It's so cute. Okay, so I used the stitched stars dies to cut out a little gold stitched star. These are awesome if you have little kids or anything like that. You could cut out a bunch of little stars and make them little like rewards that they could collect if they did their chores or something. Wouldn't that be fun? Sometimes I think I should have had kids because that kind of stuff would have made me excited. Of course, they probably would never do their chores, so yeah, it might not have worked out so well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach this. I have a feeling I'm gonna run out of adhesive at some point, and I apologize in advance if I do. I'll have to just take a second to fix that. All right, so then I used that itty bitty Christmas stamp set that I showed you, and I took Peace and Happiness. This is the In the Pines bundle, Marlene. It's the, nope, not that one. It is the little trees, super cute, and the coordinating dies. So, really fun set. Thanks, Julie. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Peace and Happiness, and we're going to stamp it in Memento Black. My stamp set for this one, it's kind of weird. I don't know if you can see, like it's way down low, which is odd. So I have to kind of stamp it in a certain way to make it work. I should have probably cut off the top of that, and it would have straightened it out a little bit. But I've learned how to, it's like anything, right? It's got its little quirks, and I've learned how to, hopefully, I've learned how to work with it. So usually you would just go straight down, straight up. I go straight down, and I rock just a tiny bit to the bottom, and it seems to work, although I pushed too hard, so it got kind of blurry. Let me try that one more time. 2 sides to every paper, that's what we love. And just a tiny bit. There we go. I still kind of pushed too hard. Oh well, what are you gonna do? So this one, let's see which one's better. I think this one's better actually. So I actually like this sentiment so that it is, you're welcome, really skinny. I want it to be really, really skinny. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take my scissors and eyeball this. You could use your trimmer too, if that works better for you. Something small like this I can usually manage, and if it's slightly askew, it's not going to be a big deal. So I'm just going to trim this down really close to the words. Okay, like that. All right, and then I did kind of chop it in just a tiny bit, and then I did banner ends on each side. So just a little snip here. I snip in the middle, and then I go from corner to center and corner to center, like that. Oh, and I didn't quite go from the corner, so let me just fix that. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, I was watching the home edit, which is on Netflix. It's like just something I do while I'm coloring or doing whatever, or crafting. I'll have that going in the background, and I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't do a craft room. I kept waiting and waiting, so hopefully they'll do another season and do a home edit on a craft room. They did do like a little, like a school, like an after school program, and that was really cute because they had a lot of crayons and art supplies and stuff, so it was kind of like that, but now I forgot which one was my good one. I think it's this one because it's centered, but that one looks better now that I'm looking at it, but that's okay. I'm going to just put a couple of mini dimensionals here. These are awesome to have in your stash as well. So basically all the supplies you really need for this one to complete it just as I do, because I include a lot of the die cuts and stuff, is, but you still might need that. So is the bundle, so the tree stamp set and the dies, although you could get away without the dies, so you could use any tree set you had, just fussy cut around your trees. And then I just use black ink, crumb cake ink, and that's it. And then the embellishments, which if you place a $50 order, you get for free. So really minimal supplies for this one. And you could use any Christmas sentiment stamps that you have, but I used the Itty Bitty Christmas. Okay, so last thing for this one is a little bit of embellishing. So I'm going to take the bow or the linen thread and make a bow. Your favorite, Jill. You know it would not be complete without bows and banners. My favorite. No one says you have to do it the way I do though, right? So you can totally edit yours to not include those. But it looks so cute, if I do say so myself. All right, so now I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to just use a glue dot and pop that on right over the star. I did try putting it at the top of the tree and I didn't really like it that way. You could do that, like I had it up here, and I don't know, it just didn't work for me. So I put it here on the star, and then I also tried putting the little embellishments at the top of the tree, and that didn't really seem to work for me either. But again, you can totally do what you want. These embellishments are really cool though. They're white and red, and both of them have a little bit of glitter in them. You can't really see the red glitter in there, but there's like some glitter in some of them. But if you look at the white ones closely, can you see that little gold shimmer in those? Those are really cool. So I used some of these on my project. So we'll just grab a large one for here, and then a couple of small ones here, and here, and there. There we go. Cute, right? There's card number 1. Super fun. So again, just as a reminder, if you want to get these 3 card kits for free as my little thank you, any orders from now until October 30th using our host code will get that as a bonus. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Let's do this. Oh, and if the order is $50 or more, you get the embellishments too. This one I'm using Whisper White thick cardstock. And I already scored it and folded it in half. And I'm using the Plaid Tidings paper, which, as I mentioned, right now I believe is still currently either unorderable. I think it's unorderable at the moment. But there's other paper that you could totally use. I just loved this one, and I had a lot of it. I had to buy like 6 or 7 packs of it for another class. So I had like a couple of patterns that I had so many pieces left, but I'm like, you know what, I have plenty. So I have quite a few kits, but I do have limited kits for these, so there's quite a few. I don't think we'll sell out, but it is a possibility. So if it's something you want, make sure you put in your order sooner rather than later. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little bit of adhesive to this. I just layered this onto, so this was 3x4, so I could get 2 out of one piece of 6x6 paper. So the Plaid Tidings paper comes 6x6. So a little tip for you, if you want to get the best use of your paper, either to cut it 3x3, then you get 4 pieces per piece of paper, or this one I did 3x4, so you get 2 pieces per 6x6 paper, rather than using, like on our last card, I used a piece that was 4x5 1/4, so you can only get 1 card out of each sheet of 6x6 paper. This one kind of doubles your ability to make projects, so you would get 8 of these cards from 1 pack of paper instead of 4, because there's 4 of each pattern in there. So hopefully that makes sense. So I did 3x4 for the pattern paper, and then 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 for the crumb cake. Then I have the I die cut a tree out first. It looks like my tree might be a little crooked. Is it just me? Nope, it's definitely crooked. Oh boy, I've got a leaning tree on this one. I'm gonna let it go, because you know what? It's all good. Who hasn't had a leaning tree before? We had one fall over one year because it was leaning. I always say, like, that's what makes this homemade, right? It's not perfect. I got something on this one, so I'm going to take my sand eraser And if I can find it, it should be right here. There it is. See if that will take it off. I don't know if it's glue or what. I don't know what it was, but it's gone. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp Very Merry, which is also from that Itty Bitty Christmas. Thank you, Marlene. I do like these colors. I actually had, like I said, I had a whole bunch of certain patterns left over after cutting for another class, and I just kind of put all the patterns together and tried to find 3 that would go, like, not necessarily match, but they coordinate. Like, if you've been hanging out with me for any length of time, you know I love to coordinate my cards. My stamp club is almost always coordinated projects. That's right, Jill. It's leaning because of the wind. It's a very windy day. I might be able to kind of do a little illusion on it. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I stamped the Very Merry on some 1-inch piece of crumb cake, circled up, a 1-inch circle out of crumb cake cardstock. Oh, that was tough. And then I'm going to grab my twine. Jill, we're going to do some more bows. You excited? And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around. And we'll cut that like that. Wow, this is really, really crooked. Goodness gracious. And I tied a bow like right at the base of the tree. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I usually tie a knot first when I'm working with linen thread because it can be a little tricky. And then, there we go. Cute little bow. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just gonna trim that down. I don't know if there's any hiding the leaning. It's kind of funny. I might put this on this side. It might make it look a little less leany. Leany, that's a professional word. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead, crooked but fun. Very, yes, sure. You're here to help. It's bows. Yes, indeed. I told you, I love bows and banners. All right, so I'm gonna put this on with some dimensionals. I'm using the little ones because then they'll kind of, whoops, then they'll kind of come right off on your finger. They'll go kind of over that little thread there. Like I said, I'm gonna put it over here and see if we can decrease the obviousness of the leaning. I think it does a little bit because it kind of covers the extra space there. So it's still obvious in some sense, but maybe when we put our star on, that will help. All right, so now I have a little gold star that I think it might, I'm going to put it off center just a tiny bit and see if we can't write this tree. I'm going to use a mini dimensional, whoops, right in the middle of this guy. And then we will, I know I wasn't sure what that meant, Brenda, tealistic. I'm like, huh? But yep, now you get it. So yeah, I'm going to kind of put it a little bit off center and I think we can fix it, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. You can't really tell it's crooked anymore. See, it's still, you can see it a little bit, but it's definitely better. So then I used my largest little embellishments here, the larger ones versus the smaller ones, and I tried to pick ones that have a lot of gold in them, and I'm using these as ornaments. So we'll put them over here. And, oh, this is on the wrong side. I should have done this the opposite way. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix it. I want to do this way. One there, and then one over here, like that. Okay? Isn't that cute? I love adding those little embellishments as ornaments. So cute. All right, and then I'm going to take some dimensionals. We're going to put one in each corner. I usually do one in the center as well. And then that just gets attached to the card, and that's all there is to it. Pretty simple. So these are, as you can see, these are very much doable at home, especially this one. All you would need is a sentiment. Everything else will be done for you. So that's kind of cool. The last one, you would need a sentiment as well, and that's it, in black ink for both. And then this is the one, the next one is the one that you would need a little bit more, but you could totally improvise too. Again, I'll post in the, thank you. I'll post in the description once we're done all of the supplies you'll need, like what kinds of inks and things. All right, so here's our last one. And Where did I put the card kit? Here it is. This one I actually copied the design or the sketch from Amy Condors. Condors. I don't know how to say her last name. I keep messing it up. She's a friend of mine too, and we did some training together a couple months ago, and I saw this card that she did, and I loved it. And the reason why I liked it is because I was looking for a design that only used a little bit of pattern paper, because this color or this pattern, I only had like 10 sheets, and I needed to get enough for everybody out of here, so I used a smaller piece so that I would have enough kits. All right, so I pre-embossed my panel. You'll see that I have a Whisper White card base. It's 4.25 by 5.5. And then I cut a regular Whisper White 4 by 5.25. Whenever I'm embossing the front, I like to do it on a panel rather than on the front, because then it debosses the inside. So if you're like me and you sometimes have too much to say, you wouldn't be able to write on the side very easily. It also just looks a little bit more polished. So that's why I always kind of do my embossing on a separate panel. I just find that better for me. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this down, because we're not going to do any ribbon or anything on it. Oh, I think I'm doing the debossed side instead of the embossed side, but it's all fine. This is called Subtle, and I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's just a very subtle pattern. I don't know if it was this catalog or the last catalog that it didn't really show it very well, but it just adds that little something. I don't even know if you guys can see that subtle embossing, but it does really add a lot. It's one of my favorites. I use it a ton. All right, so now we're just going to take this strip of pattern paper, and we're going to go ahead and put this along the side. And then I just took another strip of pattern paper here. This is actually from the Flowers for Every Season. I think this is actually Bumblebee in this one, and I didn't have any pattern paper that color, but this one was Crushed Curry, and I think it's close enough. It might be Crushed Curry in there, but I think it's Bumblebee in the plaid tidings, so it works. It's close enough because it's such a small amount, it doesn't really matter. All right, so then I'm just going to layer this here like that. Okay, and then I put my popped out tree down next. It looks like this may not be completely punched through, so let's see how we do. Oh, I think I can make it work. This middle part, for some reason, on my die is not working, so when I call them about the missing piece, I might have to talk to them about that too. Like I said, I was using dies that are not designed for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, so I think that's the reason why. But my Stampin' Cut and Emboss has already got a ton of use, even though we just got them September, I think we finally could order those. The mini ones should be coming soon, so it's like a mini embossing machine. Oh, so excited. I think it die cuts too, but hopefully we'll get news on that soon. So if you're in the market for a die cutting machine, definitely want to check the Stampin' Up! Ones out. I'll keep you posted when the mini one launches. All right, so I'm just kind of, see, these are all coming out nice and easy. It's just those ones in the middle I have to kind of work at a little bit. And I would use my die brush here, but I don't think it's really gonna do much because they're not really die cut very well. So I'm kind of forcing them out with my nail and trying not to rip because it is a little bit delicate. So I might have to cut that one. Let's just do the ones that want to come easily. And then I'll go back to that one. Okay. These are all good. All right. The embossing plate, you mean, Marlene? The stuff for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, so like the platform and things like that, those are designed for our machine, so they are going to be a little bit different in a different machine. So you're just going to have to kind of play with the sandwich that you use, so what dies and platforms you use with it. But yeah, it will be a little bit different than your other ones. Okay. Oh, and you know what I just realized after all of that? So I cut out like 20 of these or more, and I cut out the wrong one. If you look at the set, it's a different one. So I'm a dummy. So let's go ahead and cut the right one. I'll save this in my little misfits pile, and we'll grab a piece of crumb cake, and I'll show you how this works. So yeah, so like I was saying, like I think it might not be cutting the best because I'm using plates that are from a different die cut and embossing machine. I'm using plates from, I think it's a Big Shot, whereas the Stampin' Cut and Emboss has its own plates. So, so that's not the one I want. Where's my dies? Ugh, I'm so dumb. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, and that's the one I cut everything this morning, and it took me forever. Now I don't even need it. I was cutting the wrong one. See, this is what happens when I watch TV and try and do work at the same time. I make mistakes, but there's really no mistakes in stamping. I'll use it for something else. All right, so I'm just going to die cut one of these, which I don't really think I need the shim on this one. Oh, there's 2 pieces under there. Okay, I'm going to just roll that through. And then we'll roll it back just so you guys can see it, because otherwise it's off camera. All right. Then we pull this off. And this one does cut it out at the same time, which I love. So see, isn't that cute? I'm such a ding dong. All right, I'm gonna put that with that. Keep this and move this back out of the way. Okay. The only reason why I wasn't using my plates that come with the machine is because they're really cut up right now. This actually would be probably a good spot and time to use my little die brush. Where'd it go? There we go. Look how nice that comes out. It does roll up your die cut a little bit, but when you put some glue on it, it will be fine. Okay, this one's going to be a lot easier to glue down too, although again, it would have been good to use this sticky stuff. Duh. Okay. I could cheat and just use my regular adhesive with this one, but it holds better if you use the other one, so I'll do that. Where's my green glue? I should have a cutting fairy. Miss Last Minute Annie didn't have enough time to bring it to my cutting fairy, so, because I got gnomes to cut too, but I need them all for tomorrow, so, you know, Last Minute Annie over here. But I've got so much, I should give you guys a little tour, except for it's a hot mess in here, but I have so many things that are in partial production here. So I've got paper share kits that should be going out tomorrow. We have our little online party next week for those of you that ordered those. Those are going out tomorrow. The gnome kits are going out on Saturday. And then these kits will go out next week. Some of them will go out this week, depending on if they're not, whether or not I need to order you the embellishments, because that's on the host code. So that those will go out next week when I get the embellishments in. But if they're not, if it's an under $50 order, then I can send it out with your thank you card this week. So lots of things shipping out of here this week. It's a busy, busy week here at By the Shore Stamping. All right, so on this piece, I used the crumb cake. She would have come to you. You seem to know a lot about this fairy there, miss. I know. I'm not doing a very good job assigning things. All right. I'm going to grab my 2 trees. I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to do this one. So 2 different sizes. And I'm going to grab this block for this one. And we'll grab one of these for this one. And we're going to stamp them right on our cardstock. Whoops. I just did that upside down almost. With crumb cake ink. She is a friend. She's a good friend. All right. I'm going to stamp that. And then I'm going to stamp another one here. Like that. Okay. Now, we're going to die cut these with the dies from the set. So, like I said, most of the stuff in these kits, if you get them, are already pre-cut and ready to go. This is the only one that you might have to do some fussy cutting, or if you don't have this leaf set, you might have to, this tree set, you may have to use one you have and then fussy cut that one. So you'll want a tree that you can fussy cut. All right, I'm gonna use this one for here. Now, what did I do with the open one? This is why you shouldn't leave things laying around, because now I don't know what I did with that one. Uh-oh, my friends. I appear to be missing a die, and I have no idea where I put it. I haven't used it live. I pre-cut everything, so where did it go? Oh, maybe it's under here? No. Oh, goodness gracious. Let me look again, make sure I'm not missing it, because that happens a lot. Nope. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's on my desk. It's right here. This is the other one I want. So these are called framelets. Did you guys ever know this? You sometimes will hear things called thinlets and some things called framelets. Framelets basically frame a stamp. So there's your framelit. So these are framelets, like that. Okay. So we're gonna grab the big shot again. And we'll pull that over here. And plop this down. And I think I can probably run these through at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, whoops, stay put. Do that. And do, whoops, come on. This one doesn't always like to line up the top and the bottom at the right point. There we go. Then I'm gonna slip this in on top. Push that down and roll it through. Okay. And there we have our cute little trees all popped out. Aren't they cute? So we just kind of poke through the middle there and you get your two dies. I gotta pick up that die. Otherwise I'm gonna lose it and be like, oh, I don't know what happened. Okay, so that was on the floor. We'll put these back in with my framelets and we'll move this out of the way. Are you guys messy crafters or organized? Like I have girls on my team, the short stampers, that like as soon as they use something it goes back in its spot. But I'm like, I'm gonna use that again in a second, so why would I put it back? So I'm not very good at staying on top of that. I like to have everything handy so it's all around me, but then I tend to lose things, so I have to be very careful. I'm definitely a messy crafter though, and I like to subscribe to the belief that it's similar to cooking. You know how they always say a good cook is a messy cook? Well, I like to think that a good crafter is messy as well. Not that a neat one can't be a good one, but it's just my story because I need to excuse myself. All right, so I'm gonna pop this one up with some dimensionals. Totally messy crafter, good. I like that I'm not alone. Sometimes I'll end up with like one little tiny square of space on my table by the time I'm done because the juices are flowing and the stamps are flying and all of a sudden the table disappears. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one kind of like that, overlapping them a little bit. Okay, now like I said, I already pre-tied all the bows because, you know, I love you guys that much. I'm gonna go ahead. It was also an excuse for me to be able to keep watching TV. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this on here. Whoops. Nope, on here, please. There we go. Like that. And then all we have left is to stamp our greeting. And again, I used the Memento Black. And I used Itty Bitty Christmas. I love this Celebrate the Season one. I just love the font. I love the saying. I think it's awesome. So, yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull that one out. That's good. I have a little cubby next to my desk, but it doesn't end up there until when I clean up. So, yeah. I have good intentions, and sometimes I'm better than others. Like right now, my desk is already a hot mess, so I'm not even making effort to put things away, but Yes, Judy, I'm the same way. As soon as I put something away, I want it again. But I do say I have been putting my stuff away like at the end of each day so that my desk is clean in the morning. And I do find that gets me a little bit more motivated to stamp the next day. So that does help. Okay, so there's my celebrate the season. Then we're going to do Jill's favorite. We're going to go ahead and do some banner ends. So I'm just going to snip in the middle here and then do corner to center and corner to center like that. And then I do the same thing on this side. So just a little slit in the middle and corner to center and corner to center. So who has their Halloween candy? Last week for Facebook Live, I showed you this cute little project and I bought that great big giant bag of candy and I have 2 bags filled. And guess who's been eating the rest of that candy? Yeah, see, this is bad. We don't want to do that. I just got on the scale the other day and it was not pretty. It is definitely the COVID something. I think it's probably getting close to 20. COVID-19 for sure. It's been horrible. All I do is eat all day while I craft, which isn't a bad life. I'm not complaining, but it's all fun and games until your pants don't fit, right? Whoops, I went over a little bit. Okay, I'm in stretchy pants today, in case you were wondering. That is kind of my outfit of choice. I was actually joking with a friend of mine the other day that I have, you know, a plethora of leggings. I have my fancy leggings, my going out leggings, my pajama leggings, my daily leggings. So yes. Hi Linda, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Jolene, I'm glad. It's very hard to stay organized, but I feel better knowing that I'm not the only one. Okay, so before we finish this one up, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Is I wanted to add a little sparkle to this one. So we're gonna grab our Winka Stella. This is a really fun little tool. If you don't have one of these, it should be in your basic crafting kit for sure. Your basic tool kit. And you do have to be careful, although I like the look of this, so I'm okay with it, but this sometimes acts like a watercolor utensil. It will actually blend those colors a little bit, so it will bleed, but it's totally fine. For this one, I think it looks kind of cool. I'm going to blend both of these together here. We're going to get some glitz going on. I'll see if I can show it to you. This Winka Stella pen is awesome. They're only $8. They're definitely a cool thing to add to your order if you like glitz, because it's not messy. It's super easy and it's neat and orderly. I appreciate that, Judy. Stretchy pants rule for sure, Julie. Yes, it's totally the outfit of the day for me every day. All right, so there's that. And I don't know if you guys can see that glitz. I was trying to read your comments at the same time, so I was not doing a very good job of that. Okay, and then the last thing for this is just add a little bit of more bling. So I'm going to add some of these really cool rhinestones. Again, so just in case you missed it in the beginning, sorry to be repetitive for those of you that have been with me since the beginning, I appreciate it. These are my card kits for this month for our virtual card class. So if you place an order with me between now and Friday using the host code here at the website here, you will get the 3 card kits that I showed today. Everything will be pre-cut and ready to go for you. The only thing you'll need is the stamp set to stamp, and then you may want the bundle, because while I pre-cut most of it, this one here that we just did, you'll have to fussy cut those if you don't get the dies, but you could totally do that. It's totally feasible. And then just black ink and crumb cake ink and a Winka Stella. Everything else would be included in your kit. I will include the linen thread. You'll get the embellishments for free if your order is $50 or more. Otherwise, you could use whatever embellishments you have. Oh, and then you would just need the Winka Stella if you wanted. Did I just say that? And some mini glue dots and adhesive. So it's a very basic supply list. And then you could make these really cute cards. And of course, you can always recreate the designs using other things once you have them. So they make great samples for you to work with, especially if you haven't designed your Christmas cards yet. And I'm thinking this Thursday, because I have not done my Christmas cards. So every Thursday at 2, I go live with our Thursdays at 2 for Facebook. So I'll be doing that again this week. I'm thinking I might do kind of like a holiday card studio kind of quick little hit. So just kind of giving you some tips and tricks for how to put together your holiday card. Whether you're brand new at crafting or if you're more avid, we'll kind of go through some tips and tricks for creating your holiday card for the season, because now is the time to start thinking about that if you wanted to send them out. And depending on whether you need to send 5 or 225, which is more close to what I usually send, it will really make a difference as to how you go about setting that up. So be sure to join me Thursday at 2 o'clock here on By the Shore Stamping, and we'll kind of chat about holiday cards a little bit and maybe hopefully give you some tips. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you share this, that makes my day. It really does. And so many of you are so great about doing that without me even asking. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love that. And again, if you want to place an order, don't forget the host code. Unless your order is over 150, don't use the host code. You'll still get all the kits and the embellishment, but you'll also get Stampin' rewards, and you need to do that with Stampin' Up. So don't use the code if it's of 150 or more. But if you do want the card kits and the embellishments, you need to use the code otherwise, because then I won't know. So just make sure you do that. And then if you have any questions, you know where to find me. All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again on Thursday. Have a great couple of days. Bye, guys.